Your manager just gave you a 3% raise. You smiled. You said thank you. You went back to your desk, and then you opened LinkedIn. Because somewhere in the back of your mind, you already know the person who just left for a different company got 15% more. And the job posting you bookmarked last Tuesday is offering $12,000 above what you are making right now. So here is the question that nobody gives you a straight answer to. Is loyalty actually costing you money? And if it is, how much? Because the answer is more complicated than the internet wants you to believe. And the full picture, including the part most job hopping advice leaves out, might completely change how you think about your career. Let me tell you about two people who started their careers at the same time, in the same city, earning the same starting salary. 25 years old, marketing jobs, $52,000 a year. Person A, let us call her Maya. Maya is ambitious. She has seen the data. She knows that staying at one company too long means collecting polite raises while the market moves on without her. So every 2 to 3 years, she moves. New company, new title, new salary. She is strategic about it. She researches, she negotiates, she only moves when the jump is worth it. Person B, let us call him Daniel. Daniel is also ambitious, but he has a different theory. He builds deep expertise. He cultivates relationships. He becomes the person in the room everyone else defers to. His company knows it, and every few years they show him it, with a promotion, a title change, a meaningful raise, that they want to keep him. Here is the question. 10 years later, who is earning more? And more importantly, who has more wealth? Because salary and wealth are not the same thing. And that distinction is exactly where this conversation gets interesting. Let me start with what the salary data actually shows. During 2021 and 2022, the period everyone calls the Great Resignation, job switchers were winning dramatically. According to ADP payroll data, job switchers in April 2022 were seeing median pay increases of around 15% or more. People who stayed in their roles were getting about half that. The math was undeniable. If you were willing to move, you were rewarded. That window created an entire generation of career advice built on one rule: switch every 2 to 3 years or get left behind. Here is what happened next. The labor market cooled. Job openings stopped outpacing available workers. Companies stopped bidding aggressively for talent. And the salary premium for switching jobs started shrinking. Fast. By early 2025, according to Atlanta Fed wage data, job switchers were seeing median pay growth of 4.8%. Job stayers were seeing 4.6%. The gap, which was once 8 percentage points wide, had narrowed to 0.2 percentage points. By late 2025, the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta reported that job stayers were actually seeing slightly higher median wage growth than switchers for the first time in years. So is switching jobs still worth it for the salary bump? The honest answer is, it depends. And it depends on more than just the market. If you switch strategically for a genuinely better role in a high-demand skill set with a meaningful title change, you can absolutely capture a significant salary increase. The opportunity is still there. But if you are switching every 2 to 3 years as a default strategy, betting that the simple act of leaving will always deliver a big number, the data says that bet is no longer reliable. The era where moving automatically meant winning is over. Now, here is the part of this conversation that almost nobody is having. Even in the years when job hopping won on salary, it was often losing somewhere else, quietly, invisibly, in a place most people do not check until it is too late. In 2024, investment firm Vanguard published a study following more than 50,000 job switchers, and they found something that should stop every ambitious young professional in their tracks. A worker who starts their career at $60,000 and changes jobs 8 times over their working life, a completely normal amount for someone who switches every few years, could forfeit approximately $300,000 in retirement savings. Not in salary, in retirement savings. $300,000 gone. Not from making bad investments, not from spending too much, from job switching. How? Here is the mechanism nobody explains. Every time you start a new job, you re enter your employer's retirement plan as a new participant. In most U.S. plans and many Canadian plans, the default contribution rate resets. The automatic escalation you had built up, the rate that was gradually increasing every year at your old job, goes back to the starting point. Most people do not notice. They are focused on the new salary, the new title, the new energy. And by the time they get around to updating their contribution rate, they have already lost weeks or months of savings at the higher rate. The Vanguard study found that the median job switcher experienced a 10% pay increase when they switched, which sounds great, but they also saw a 0.7 percentage point drop in their savings rate. That 0.7% does not sound like much. Over a 40-year career, compounded at an average return of 6.4% on a balanced portfolio, that small drop, repeated 8 times, becomes $300,000. Think about that for a second. Maya switched jobs and got a 10% raise. Daniel stayed and got a promotion with a 7% raise. On paper, Maya won round one. But Maya's retirement contribution rate reset when she moved. She spent 3 months figuring out the new benefits package. She missed part of her employer match during the vesting gap, and she did it again 3 years later, and again after that. Daniel's rate kept escalating automatically. His match kept compounding. His vesting kept building. No resets. The salary race Maya thought she was winning has a shadow score. And over a career, that shadow score is enormous. There is a second hidden cost that makes this even more expensive. It is called vesting. Most employer retirement plans, whether it is a 401k match in the US or a company pension contribution in Canada, do not belong to you immediately. They vest over time, often over 2 to 5 years. If you leave before you are fully vested, you leave that employer contribution behind. So let us say your employer matches 50% of your contributions up to 6% of your salary. On a $65,000 salary, that is potentially $1,950 per year in free money from your employer. If you leave after 2 years and the plan vests over 4 years, you might only keep 50% of what your employer contributed. The rest stays with them. You were working for that match. You just could not see it leaving when you handed in your notice. Now multiply this by every 3-year move across a career. Job hopping does not just mean resetting contribution rates. It can mean literally leaving employer money on the table every single time. Let me show you what the full picture looks like with actual numbers. Starting salary, $52,000. Age 25, Maya. Job hopper, every 3 years. Year 25 to 28, $52,000 to switches. Gets 12% raise. New salary, $58,240. Year 28 to 31, $58,240 to switches. Gets 10% raise. New salary, $64,064. Year 31 to 34, $64,064 to switches. Gets 10% raise. New salary, $70,470. Year 34 to 37, $70,470 to switches. Gets 8% raise. New salary, $76,107. By age 37, Maya is earning approximately $76,000. Her salary trajectory looks impressive, but at each transition, she reset her savings rate to 3%. She left portions of employer match unvested twice. She had a 3-month gap once between roles. No contributions. Daniel. Strategic stayer. Year 25 to 29. $52,000 to promotion at year 3. Gets 8% raise. $56,160. Year 29 to 33, $56,160. To promote it again, get 7% raise, $60,091. Year 33 to 37, $60,091 to senior role, gets 8% raise, $64,898. By age 37, Daniel is earning approximately $65,000. On salary, Maya wins $76,000 versus $65,000, $11,000 more. Now look at retirement wealth. Daniel's contribution rate has been escalating automatically for 12 years. He is fully vested. His employer match is fully compounded. His retirement account at 37, approximately $98,000. Maya's savings rate reset 4 times. She partially forfeited 2 vesting periods. Her retirement account at 37, approximately $67,000. Daniel earns $11,000 less per year, but he has $31,000 more in retirement savings after 12 years, and that $31,000 gap at compound growth becomes a significantly larger gap over the next 25 years before retirement. The salary scoreboard said Maya was winning. The wealth scoreboard tells a different story. Now, and this is important, I am not telling you to stay loyal and never switch jobs. That is not the answer. The answer is more nuanced than either extreme. Job hopping works when you are switching for a genuinely meaningful salary increase of 15% or more. You are adding real new skills or a higher level title. You are moving from a company with limited upward mobility to one where you can grow further. And you are doing it deliberately, not just to escape a bad manager or because LinkedIn made you feel behind. Staying works when your company has genuine internal mobility. You are building expertise that makes you more valuable each year. Your employer match and vesting schedule mean there is real compounding wealth building beneath your salary. And you are not just staying out of fear, you are staying with a plan. The mistake is not moving. The mistake is moving mindlessly and treating every switch as a guaranteed win, without accounting for the full financial picture that comes with it. And the single most important thing you can do if you do switch jobs. On day 1 of the new role, before you do anything else, open your new benefits portal and manually set your retirement contribution rate to match or exceed where you left off. Do not let it reset. Do not accept the 3% default. Do not wait until you understand the new plan. Just match your old rate immediately. That one action, done every time you switch, closes approximately 60% of the retirement savings gap between job hoppers and stayers. The rest, the vesting, the compounding, the gap periods, still matters. But that one habit fixes the biggest piece. Here is the reframe I want you to carry out of this video. Most people think about their career purely as an income story. Higher salary equals better outcome. Move when the number goes up, stay when the number stays the same. But your financial life is not just your salary. It is your salary plus what that salary is building underneath it. The retirement savings, the employer match compounding, the vesting, the investment account growing quietly while you work. The person who earns $65,000 and builds $300,000 in retirement wealth over a career is not behind the person who earns $76,000 and builds $200,000 in retirement wealth. They are ahead. Loyalty is not about being passive. It is not about accepting whatever you are given. It is about knowing the full cost of leaving and making a decision with the whole picture in front of you. The most expensive career moves are the ones you make without counting what you are leaving behind. Your career is not a salary. It is a wealth-building machine. And right now, whether you know it or not, that machine is either compounding for you or resetting against you with every move you make. If you are planning to switch jobs, go for it. Do it strategically. Negotiate hard. Get the number. And on day 1, fix your savings rate. If you're staying, push for that internal promotion. Document your value. Know your market rate. Stay because you choose to, not because you are afraid to move. But whatever you do, stop measuring your financial life by the salary line on your payslip and start measuring it by what that salary is actually building while you sleep. Because the person with the highest paycheck does not always win. The person who understood what their paycheck was building and protected it every time they moved, that is the person who ends up wealthy. Drop a comment below and tell me, are you a Maya or a Daniel right now? Job hopper building salary, strategic stayer building tenure, or somewhere in between? Considering a switch, but trying to figure out if the math actually works in your favor? Tell me your situation, current salary, how long you have been at your company, and what the new offer is looking like. And I will tell you whether the switch makes financial sense for your specific numbers, not a generic answer, your actual situation. If this video made you see your career differently, share it with one person in your life who is about to make a job move without running the full numbers. Subscribe to Nuella Invests. Every week, we have the conversation about money that should have been part of every career discussion you ever had. I will see you in the next one.